Hello, welcome to Lunch with Lee. Today it's rainy and it's supposed to be rainy all week long. So, welcome to Houston. Beaumont, too, it's going to be wet. So, it's a great time to talk about water leaks. And what do you do? We have lots of customers that now there's all kinds of different businesses giving advice. There's roofers, there's masons, there's other chimney companies. There's chimney companies, especially in the Houston market, that have been around for less than a year. It's, I would say 25-30% of the companies are brand new, and they do primarily heating, air conditioning, plumbing, duct cleaning, and now they do chimneys. So buyer beware. But how do you know if it's leaking at all? Sometimes it's easy. You have water flowing in. There's wet sheetrock. There's dripping. It's incredibly easy. So that's something we can always look at. But a lot of times it's a little less obvious. If you go to the outside of your chimney from the outside of your house and you look up and you see mold, you see colors, you see streaks, or inside where you put your wood, if you see streaks, white powder, which is efflorescence. If I'm not going technically into what it is, but anything that doesn't look typical, if it looks messy, if it looks drippy, if the bricks are starting to fall apart, like the mortar between the bricks are either moving or there's holes, these are all signs of a water leak. And yes, even if you don't see water, there's water inside the structure. If you don't have a cap on the top, you have a giant hole, and every time it rains, water comes in. So if you have questions about this, post them. I'll be happy to answer them here live. I know there's a bunch of people listening right now, but be aware. Even if you don't see water, it can do damage to the inside of your fireplace. If it is a masonry, a brick and mortar fireplace, yep, Jerry just said, thank you. I hear you, Jerry. But if it's a brick and mortar fireplace, and a lot of people don't even know what they have, a lot of the mortars on the inside will go away, will deteriorate with water. You can't even see it. But what you'll see is you'll start to get smells. The inside of your fireplace won't smell right, or your fireplace doesn't light correctly, or it doesn't draft correctly. All these things will happen with water leaks. If you have a manufactured metal fireplace, you'll start to see rust. You'll start to see, once again, smells. You'll start to get all kinds of weird stuff. Your sheetrock could bubble. You could see shifting in sheetrock. But even if you don't see water, it can be leaking. So it's incredibly important that you get yearly inspections. That's your first line of defense, because we can catch small leaks before they become big issues. Because fixing a leak, and sometimes for manufactured metal fireplaces, it's as simple as recaulking a joint. But if you don't do that and water leaks in for years, then you start to have issues. Yep, Brian Driggs, thank you. I appreciate the like. But it's important that we stay on top of this. Little water leaks, not a big issue. We can fix it. But when it leaks long-term, consistently, you start to get into problems you can't even see. We get them with camera systems. You get, for manufactured fireplaces, rusted messes that you have to literally rip out of the walls and start all over again. All the venting, everything. If it's a masonry fireplace, we put in cameras. Mortar goes away. We have to fill that or resurface or reline. It becomes a big issue. So make sure that you are staying on top of this. Yearly inspections, clean if necessary, first line of defense. If you have water, we do free water leak consultations. You can do a virtual assessment from our website. Go to our Google. You can just schedule an appointment. We're working on building that out too. So make sure that you stay on this water leak stuff, because even if you don't see leaks on the outside at all and you have brick or stone, brick and stone is porous. It leaches water through. If things aren't built correctly, you could have issues. And if it is built correctly and you have a masonry fireplace, it's not supposed to be wet. And there is no waterproof membranes. There's no water protection. The water just comes inside the structure and has to slowly kind of weep out. If you have painted brick on the outside, that traps moisture. So when water comes in from the top or somewhere else, it's stuck. And then you get moldy, gross. So make sure that you are staying on top of this water leak situation. That's where all fireplaces, they require maintenance. Even when we give you a warranty, we assume that we're going to go out, we're going to touch some stuff up. That's what fireplaces do. It's like a car. You have to change the oil on it. It's going to have some things we have to touch up. If you touch them up when they're little, they don't become big. So make sure, stay on your maintenance. Make sure we catch little stuff before it becomes big. So that's the lesson for today as I look out the window and see the rain fall, but this week's supposed to be wet. So give us a call as soon as you can. And we will diagnose your leak. If it's not leaking at all, we'll tell you it's not leaking at all, or we will figure out what's going on. So I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.